During my first week at UGA, I called my mom, almost in a panic. Somehow, after just 7 days, I had already failed college and I had no idea what to do. What happened? I forgot to do a syllabus quiz. Yes, that is a ridiculous thing to panic about, but to me, it was the first sign of my absent time management skills. I'm sure you've had your share of assignments turned in at 11:59, mad dashes from the tape printers to class, and 3 a.m. study session victories in the MLC. Some might say this is normal, or even the way college is supposed to be. Although I don't believe this is true, I struggled to find ways to balance my academic, career, and social life. I was more distracted than ever, but too busy to reanalyze. I believe now, in the midst of a global pandemic, each of us can find new ways to focus, with a little help from homeschooling. My homeschooling journey began in the Barnes & Noble Starbucks the summer between 4th and 5th grade. I was surprised when my mother asked me to get whatever I wanted, sat me down with my strawberry-flavored milk, and told me she wanted to homeschool my brother and me. She told me how homeschoolers can learn more, spend less time at a desk, and explore the world. I said yes. With that, I joined one of the smallest minorities in America. Homeschool students comprise 3.4% of the student population as of 2019. Compared to 2007, with 1.5 million, the homeschool population is growing quickly. I was able to challenge myself and do things outside of the norm as a homeschooler. In 8th grade, I sent my phone into space for science class. In high school, I joined the climbing team at one of the best climbing gyms in the country. During my junior and senior years, I traveled to state capitals across the nation teaching kids about the political process. In high school, I learned from some of the best teachers in Atlanta every Monday and Wednesday at a hybrid school of sorts, and it was a fantastic schedule for me. This is not to glamorize homeschooling. There are numerous difficulties, and it takes an amazing, dedicated person like my mom to guide students to success. But what I want you to know is that it is possible to get a fantastic education at home. This is great news because the homeschooling population just had a record semester. In March, homeschool participation went from 3.4% to 100%. The wide and unexpected adoption of homeschooling has looked different for every student and has placed an undue burden on parents. While it is nice to see homeschoolers getting some of the credit for the difficulties we tackle every day, the response to this crisis, the crisis schooling, has not been positive. An associate professor of educational research wrote in the New York Times, "I refuse to run a coronavirus homeschool." Moms and dads on Twitter write how they went from schedules to chaos in less than 48 hours. And celebrities say it is a nightmare to teach their kids. And I don't blame them. It truly is hard work to be a teacher. But instead of viewing the school year as a total wash or time we are never going to get back, I think we can use this time for greater focus and more joy for learning. Each day during the early years of our homeschool, my mom set out plastic boxes on a wire shelf for us. The boxes contained materials and instructions for each day's schoolwork, one subject per box. Our school was over when all of the boxes were done. As a self-motivated kid, I created my own schedule. I started most school days at 9 a.m. with my hardest subjects, math and Latin. My family eliminated distractions by only allowing TV and video games on the weekends. My strategy changed over the years. I would write out my study times and due dates on a whiteboard in our classroom. The boxes were replaced by a stack of books at my desk, but the premise stuck with me. Do a little bit of work on my assignments each day. As I graduated, I was excited about getting thrown into a new and challenging situation and making the most of my newfound freedoms in college. However, for many students, getting sucked into the hustle, dorm life, and less accountability leads to poor time management, general anxiety, and sleep deprivation. 85% of college students report feeling overwhelmed by the number of things being asked of them in the past year, and 34.4% reported moderate to severe anxiety. I felt and succumbed to these pressures too. Still, I believed the best strategy was just to power through. As the weeks of quarantine flew by, I joked that online school was just like homeschool. But as I finished my 3rd season in a row of New Girl, I wondered what happened. I never remembered homeschool being an empty pit devoid of all purpose, meaning, and interaction with real people. So I started thinking about what I did in the glory days. It turns out I had forgotten about the boxes and the due dates on the whiteboard. I realized over the past 2 years of college, I didn't apply any of the strategies I taught myself through homeschool to manage my time and expectations for myself. I am not saying that my homeschool strategy was the secret to ultimate productivity and an anxiety-free life. I'm saying that strategized focus must be an individual process. Maybe you get your best work done at 3 a.m. while blasting heavy metal. I don't judge. Instead of letting other people tell you how you learn, remember that all learning comes down to eliminating distractions. School gradually takes us from days filled with utter chaos in preschool to just 3 hours of direct instruction per class a week. Only the necessary things are left at the end. Now that we're all homeschooled, we have the opportunity to choose our own schedules. We can follow any distraction or find focus. Whether you take classes online this summer, tackle more projects than ever before, or just want to read a good book, I want to challenge you to find your focus. Eliminate distractions and break it up into pieces. You can put it in a little box if you want.